Welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna do the second video of this playlist. So in the previous video we've been discussing about extempore speech, and in this one we're gonna talk about the speech in which you talk about a particular person. So without much ado, let's get into the video. So as I've been telling in the previous video, the most important thing when you do a speech is chronology. Of course, your audience should get a sense of timeline in what you say. So chronology is extremely important. So then I have divided my speech into 6 different parts. So that's really gonna help, because whenever a person hears a speech, he should have some sense of timeline, as I've already told before, and in that I mean that he should see some progress in what we say. It means it comes from history and then goes to speciality and so on, and I'll say each of those parts individually. So the first part in it is, of course, history. So when you talk about a person, there is some turning point in his or her life that made her achieve the current point of her career that he or she is in. So the next thing that is extremely important is the speciality of the person. So everybody in this world is not like the Monsieur Le Bon of Merchant of Venice. Of course, nobody is like that. So everybody has a special personality of his or her own. So when you're speaking about a person, you should touch the significant personality of the person, because it is really important. Because a person has different stages in his life, but something that he has all through is his personality and the different phases of his action. So that is extremely important when you speak about him or her. So the third most important thing when you speak about a person, of course, is the peak point of her or his career. So what is this? When we speak about a person, we always know their peak point. For example, when we are speaking about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, we know that he was a scientist, that he was a president of India, and a lot of such information. But when you start your speech by giving such information, you may not interest your audience. If you start with something else like the turning point in his life, the audience will build a curiosity and they'll achieve this point and they'll be on a track with you. So that is extremely important. You should place it in a kind of middle position. So the next point, that is a 4th point, is optional. So if the person you're speaking about is no more, you should give a slight reference to their demise. So that is important. So that's going to be our 4th part. And then comes the 5th part. So the 5th part is memory. So what do I mean by this? I mean that a person is significant, and whenever you're given a speech, you're given a topic to speak about, that person would be special. So how is that person being remembered today? So that is a good point of view about giving a speech. And then comes our last thing, and like in a moral story, what you're going to do at the end of the speech is provide a message that this person gave through his life to us. So what does he provide to us? That is going to be our message. So I've listed 6 parts of my speech over here. So number it down up here, just have a glance. Number 1 was history. Number 2 was the speciality. Number 3 was the highest point of their career. Number 4 was their demise. Number 5 was their memory. And number 6 is the message that they gave to us. So it's the Christmas Eve, and I've decided that I'm just not gonna give a video about some tips and tricks how you're going to use this in your speech, but of course it should not be like that. Well, you learn all the rules of grammar and you don't apply it, so what's the use? So today I'm gonna give an example of a speech with all the principles that I've listed over here. So let's watch it. And the person I'm going to speak about is Anna Pavlova. So if you know nothing about her, please don't Bing it or Google it. Just travel on the track of my speech and get the feel that you want to give to your audience. So who is Anna Pavlova? Was she a singer, a dancer, a doctor, or an engineer? Well, you take your time to think. But let me tell you a short story in the meantime. There was a little girl for a washerwoman, and it was deep in a country. And one day, the woman took her child to a ballet. And the kid was really interested in the dance and told her mother that I will be one of the greatest ballerinas of this world. Unlike other children who say that I want to be a ballerina, the child told that I will be the greatest ballerina in this world. So the particular word will showed her determination and her perseverance that she is gonna put into achieving her goal. She was very slim and had a slight flat feet, and she telling her mother this. Her mother did not take this very serious from the beginning, but she did not realize that this thing was nailed to her kid from the bottom of her heart. As the child grew up, so did her desire in dancing. And once she was old enough, she sent an application to the best school of ballet in this whole wide world. But this particular institution had a peculiarity in selecting their dances. As the auditions come, they decide that all the dances that they are rejecting will get another opportunity to turn up after some months. So Anna, all interested and enthusiastic, went for the audition, but she was rejected. Even though she was sad, she did not lose heart and kept belief in herself and waited for the next chance. So one day, her long wait came to an end and she received another application saying that it was time for her to go back. And when she came back for the audition, before doing anything else, she asked the judges, the jury, she asked them on what criteria did they tell that she is not gonna perform for her. Why did they reject her? She asked this to the jury and they said that there is a peculiarity in us selecting our dances. There were 3 best dances from all those came for the audition, but we rejected them. We needed to understand their level of self-confidence, so we told them to come back. But what happened? Only you turned out, and the other 2 stopped dancing forever. Why? So this was a question that the jury asked her again. For her determination, her perseverance, and her persistence, she was the only person who had self-belief in them. And then her journey was like that of a diamond. Like a quote which we all usually use, that is from rags to riches. Well, that was partly true in the case of Anna Pavlova. She was gaining milestones after milestones, and she was named the prima ballerina, and she also made her famous debut in The Dying Swan. But one day in this high peak of her life, she was going for a program, but unfortunately her train suffered an accident. But it was not that she was injured in the accident. She did not get hurt in that very disastrous accident. But in turn, she had to wait for 12 long hours on a cold winter night in a railway station. And by the time help arrived, she was with severe pneumonia admitted in a hospital. While she was in death's still hands, what she said was, I want to see the attire that I once wore proudly as a dying swan. We mentioned earlier that the little girl had a slight flat feet, but that is not typically what a ballerina should have. So in order to overcome her disability, she invented the pointed shoes. But today, that is the basic dress code of a ballerina. and she is named as the greatest ballerina of ever. From the little child telling that I will be the greatest ballerina in the entire world, she proved that hard work and determination and precision and persistence and perseverance is what a human being needs to achieve his or her lifelong aim. That's the greatest message that a person can give to her or his surroundings. This is the greatest inspiration that she gave to people around her, and that is why she is one of the people who even die but still remain alive in our hearts. So this is my speech, and I hope you found it informative, and I touched all my basic principles over here. I told what was a turning point in life, and I told what was a speciality, what was our peak point in life, and the sad demise, and her memory, and the message that she gives to us and humankind. So that those principles, of course, if you are a person who was hearing about Anna Pavlova for the first time, did you go in a track with the same essay? If you did, that is the success of a speech. When you go in a ride with a speaker, that is when that thing is getting into your heart. If it really got into your heart, that is what should get into your audience as well. They should understand the same emotions that you have to give or that you have felt. So that is what is called a hyperbole in a poetry. But your speech should capture your audience. It should engross the audience. It should make them feel that they are a part of it. It should make them feel that they are traveling on a train or a bus or a car with you. That is what makes a speech special. So let's speak together. Let's be confident together. I'm Meenakshi and signing off.